Hello, I'm Dr. Stephen Andrew Missick. I'm running for Texas State Legislature HD 18. And you might ask, well, why are you running? I'm running because we need to have a real, committed, conservative Republican representing this district in Austin. And right now, we don't have it. We have Ernest Bales, a man who campaigns as a conservative Republican, but legislates in Austin as a Democrat. You have to wonder, how hard is it? How hard is it to go to Austin as a Republican and vote with the party which you're affiliated with? Well, that's something pretty hard for Ernest Bales because he won't do it. I will be a consistent and reliable Republican vote, unless there's something that's very ridiculous that Republicans should not do, such as impeaching Ken Paxton, as Ernest Bales did. Ernest Bales voted to impeach Ken Paxton. So here we have our state and our entire country under assault from the radical left-wing destructive agenda of the Biden administration. Few people have stood up boldly, aggressively, and successfully against the destructive Biden administration as Ken Paxton has. He just recently came through an election, and the people of Texas voted to keep Ken Paxton in office because he's effectively fighting for our state, fighting to protect our country from the disastrous effects of the Biden's policies. So what did Ernest Bales do? He voted to impeach Ken Paxton. Ernest Bales has spent his entire political career undermining and sabotaging the Republican agenda and helping the Democrats retain positions of power and further their agenda and supporting their policies and programs. As a pastor, I stand on the teachings of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, that life is sacred. I'm pro-life. And Ernest Bales, when he first ran for office, he campaigned as pro-life. But when he arrived in Austin, this man began sponsoring and supporting pro-abortion legislation. He was exposed for it, so he went back and tried to erase his record. But it's still there for all the world to see. As a committed Christian, as someone who's committed to the teachings of Jesus Christ, I don't believe any Christian person who's pro-life can vote for a man who is disingenuous, who campaigned as being pro-life, yet was a pro-abortion activist in Austin. And then he tries to cover his tracks. He needs to be held accountable for those actions. Also, one of the biggest problems we have in this country, something we need to take very seriously, is the politicization and corruption of our educational establishment. Look at these colleges where we see the woke universities, historical revisionism, Marxist professors. Unfortunately, it's not just a problem in our colleges and universities, it's in our public schools. We need educational reform. We need to get politics out of the classroom, no more left-wing politics, and focus on education. One of the ways I believe that we can do this is through school choice. This empowers each parent to send their student to the school of their own choosing, to set up these students for success. I've worked in education. I remember a few years ago, I was teaching this class, and there's this girl, she's an African-American girl, and I realized that she was exceptionally intelligent. She was ahead of everybody in the classroom. But then I was thinking about the schools that she would be going to, which aren't the best in that district. And I was concerned about her, and it's like, if we don't get this girl into a good school and set her up for a quality education, she might not realize her full potential. We need school choice. Ernest Bales wants to keep your children trapped in failing schools rather than give you the choice of educational options. Why? I actually debated Ernest Bales at this teachers union debate. And he is a lackey, he's a minion of the left-wing Marxist CRT teachers unions. That's what he is. He's a servant of the left-wing teachers' unions. And that's why, because he serves the teachers' unions, he doesn't support homeschooling. He doesn't support private schooling. He doesn't support Christian schooling. And he wants to subvert and sabotage, as he does with the rest of the Republican policies that we try to further. He's sitting in there in the legislation seeing if he can subvert and sabotage the Republican agenda, which is best for America. He's always working to make sure that he can obstruct and cause the Republican agenda to fail. Education is a problem right now. The power of the teachers' unions is a problem right now. This is a problem that must be confronted. We have to improve our education for our kids. In Shepherd, where I live, 27% of the children in these schools can do math at grade level. Bales doesn't care. All Bales cares about is supporting and keeping the left-wing CRT teachers' unions in power so that they have control over your children's education, so they can do political indoctrination and not education. Because they're not educating our kids. If only 27% of our children in the schools can do math at grade level, that's a problem. That needs to be addressed. And through school choice, it can be addressed. But Bales is over there. You know, I was at the governor's inauguration. This is one of the legislative priorities of the governor, Governor Abbott, our Republican governor. And Ernest Bales stood against him to cause school choice to fail, to cause your students to fail, to hold us back so the teachers' union can keep their power. We need to set our students free from these teachers' unions and set them up for success so they can excel and have new doors of opportunity for excellence open to them. Doors that Ernest Bales, this legislative session, slammed in their face. We also have the issue of the open borders. Ernest Bales supports open borders. He's also transformed our counties here into a sanctuary district. And now, just a few miles from where I live in Pastor, Ernest Bales allowed for the creation of a safe haven for the Mexican drug cartels to operate. The crime and violence in that area is unbelievable. And now it's spilling out. I came home a few weeks ago and I found out that there was a illegal alien, most likely a cartel member, killed children, killed women, and he could have been on my property. These are people that through his sanctuary policies, but Ernest Bales is invited to set up shop in our community. What are the Mexican drug cartels about? Human trafficking, sex trafficking, illegal weapons trafficking, drug trafficking, and child trafficking. Ernest Bales doesn't really care about it. He's turned the other way. In fact, I was at a meeting and Ernest Bales stated in my hearing, right in front of me, that he supports Terrenos and that he's working in Austin to protect what's going on outside of Plum Grove. I heard it from his very own mouth, that that's part of his priorities as legislator, to keep this illegal alien, illegal immigration sanctuary zone and safe haven for the Mexican drug cartels, which have set up shop here, that he's going to keep that going. That's what he's been doing in the State House. And it needs to end. Well, what can we do about it? It might be difficult. The damage may have already been done. But I'll tell you one thing. There's a couple of things. Number one, we cannot have the Mexican drug cartel running amok in our House district. I'm not going to put up with it. Also, in that area, Terrenos, there's been a lot of corners cut, and the locals, many people are being run off by this disaster that Ernest Bales supports. They complain about the drainage. He's settling illegal aliens in this area, and he's exploiting them. I'm against illegal immigration, but these are human beings. You can't exploit people like that. The drainage in this area is all messed up. I know for a fact, I was driving around there just checking out the area and doing some campaign work, and soon I found my car in the mud. Just driving along, all of a sudden, what happened? Sinking in mud. It took 2 big trucks to pull me out because Ernest Bales let these people cut corners. The drainage is terrible. It's prone to flooding. It's prone to pollution. And they need to fix it. The people who messed it up need to fix it. Like I said, I don't approve of illegal immigration. But you can't allow people to be exploited like that or treated like that. The whole area looks like a third world shantytown, and it's projected to grow exponentially. Ernest Bales is turning our entire district into not just a sanctuary district, not just a safe haven for the Mexican drug cartels to set up shop. He's turning our entire area into a third world shantytown. It needs to end. He doesn't care about the people who are being exploited, sexually trafficked, women, girls, children. He doesn't care about that. I care, and we're going to put an end to it. Maybe that's what he's doing in Austin, doing interference for Terrenos. But if I get in office, that's not going to be going on anymore. I'm going to put an end to that nonsense.
Hey Judge, Colony Ridge is now going to be the biggest city in Liberty County. Are you proud of what it looks like out there?
The sounds of silence. And as Colony Ridge swallows more land, neighbors in Plum Grove rightfully fear they face extinction. From raw sewage, destruction of their once quiet roads, increased flooding.
They've just pretended like nothing's wrong while Plum Grove is going to hell. I mean, we're just trying to survive.
The population of Plum Grove has been cut in half. Just 400 people left battling a rich developer, and a county government clearly looking the other way. In December, the Cleveland ISD superintendent texted the state rep Ernest Bales. Plum Grove growth is killing me.
My family's been here in Liberty County since about the 1870s, so this is home as much as anyone else is here.
Folks in Plum Grove have a good memory, so they remember the promises of their state rep.
I really hope that you guys will let me help.
You would think if he cared, Representative Bales would be helping us find those missing drainage records, but instead, he has withheld some of his government records, including records of his phone calls. Representative Bales won't even say if he's accepted any hunting trips with Trey Harris. Helicopter video proves the ditches in Colony Ridge are a flooding danger, jeopardizing not just Plum Grove, but folks all the way down the East Fork of the San Jacinto River.
We need new leadership in Austin. We need someone in Austin who represents the values and the beliefs of this community, something that Ernest Bales seems to be adverse to. This is a conservative red district still, and yet he's going over there and voting to Austin. He's voting blue. I have experience and knowledge. One of the things that I've done is I spent 3 years, almost 4, at the border, providing border security on the National Guard's mission. I know a lot about the border, having been there and worked on that issue directly. And I know how we can address and solve our border problems. I've seen success on the border, and I've seen the problems that we have, and I know how to address the border issues. Just think about this. Open borders Bales. He doesn't care about what's going on at our southern border. He's transformed our district into a sanctuary district. Even though 100,000 American young people are dying every year from fentanyl overdose, from dangerous drugs being smuggled across our border from the Mexican government and the Mexican drug cartels, Ernest Bales doesn't care. We need someone who has a priority, who cares about people in our community and wants to lift people up, and not any of these self-serving politicians. Someone like Bales, who openly admits that he prostitutes himself, as he puts it, to the special interest groups. I have leadership skills that I have gained through 30 years of military experience. I can fight for our Republican Party and our Republican values and our conservative values in Austin, and I can help us attain conservative victories. I want to state that I support President Donald J. Trump. And I've actually seen Trump in person about 4 times now. I've had the honor of seeing the president. And I was at, one of the times I saw the president was at Conroe, and I went to this rally in support of our president and listened to his speech. So, Ernest Bales is an anti-Trumper, a never-Trumper. And when I campaign, I'm going to make sure I have my Make America Great Again hat with me. And I'm going to hold it up and say, Ernest, why don't you put this hat on? You know what's going to happen? It's going to be like the cross and Count Dracula. He doesn't want to be seen with a hat like this. And why is that? Because that would offend his Democrat Party supporters and the teachers' unions that he serves. He won't be caught dead supporting President Trump, our president. And he won't be caught dead with a Make America Great Again hat. And I'll prove it. I'm going to go to one of these debates with him or these events and say, all right, Ernest, let's put this hat on. Let's get a picture of you and let's see how your teachers union, your left-wing CRT teacher union buddies feel about you wearing this hat. He won't put it on. Like I said, it's going to be like a cross to Count Dracula. This man is totally opposed to President Donald J. Trump and everything Trump represents. This district supports Donald Trump, so we're going to have me, the Make America Great Again candidate, the MAGA candidate, a friend and supporter of Donald J. Trump, representing the beliefs and interests of this community in Austin. And if Ernest Bales wants to support these left-wing CRT teachers unions, then he needs to go and run on the Democrat ticket. I want to mention about school reform. Some people are concerned about school choice. They don't want to empower the parents to be able to decide what school to send their children to because they're afraid that with this money, the government could mandate left-wing CRT political indoctrination on our kids in homeschooling. Well, that's a theoretical. That's not a problem going on right now. Right now, our kids' minds are being poisoned in the public schools. And with this program, School Choice, you could take your children out of that and make sure that they gain a Christian worldview in a Christian school or through homeschooling. If that problem arises, then we can deal with it. Right now, our kids are failing. Right now, our kids are hurting. Right now, our kids are being indoctrinated. And this is an opportunity to break the power of the teachers' unions and to confront the issue of this left-wing indoctrination. And obviously, it's going to be a very effective way to do it, and that's why the teachers' unions are against it. Let's not play into their hands, and let's have school choice. I'm totally against left-wing CRT indoctrination. But right now, our kids are failing, and this is a way to improve the quality of our children's education, and we need to have school choice. And of course, I'm for passing legislation to protect our homeschoolers, and to keep left-wing political indoctrination out of our education. And it needs to be addressed. And one of the ways of addressing this problem is school choice. If you don't want your kids getting exposed to CRT and that political indoctrination, send them to a school of your choice. Also, if your children aren't doing well academically, then you can find a place where they might have a better environment to learn, to succeed, to excel. This is a new opportunity to improve our quality of our education, and we need to get behind it and do it for the sake of our children. And we can deal with the theoretical issues some other time or in the future, or if they arise, which they never may. We need school choice because this is a crisis and it needs to be addressed now. We also need to address the immigration problem. It's important. Open Borders Bales needs to go, and we need to get people who are serious about protecting our border and enforcing immigration law and keeping our communities safe from cartel activity. This is something Ernest Bales doesn't care about. And we need someone who cares about the issues that our community is facing. People are dying, people are suffering, and it's time for real change. We need somebody that's going to provide strong leadership and fight for the greatness of Texas and the greatness of America. We need change. We need to get Ernest Bales out of office. He's failed us for far too long, and he's pulled the wool over the eyes of so many people. But now it's time to reveal him for what he is, show his record to the people so that they can finally make an informed choice and stop this man from hurting not just our community, but by opposing school choice, he's failing the kids, our children, not just in our local area, but across the entire state of Texas. By supporting abortion and hurting and undermining the pro-life movement, he's culpable for the deaths of unborn children. We need to hold him responsible for his disservice that he's done to our district. And we need to get somebody in Austin, me, who will become a servant of the people and have the best interest of our citizens, our Texans, of all race, color, and nationality at heart. So we need Texas values, and we need to be Texas strong, and that's what I want to do and what I am going to do when I win, which I will, in Austin.